Ok. Eccoci qua al secondo giorno di Summer School. Sono qua con Michel Bauwens e adesso gli chiediamo qualcosa. Hi Michel, can you anticipate us some insights you will develop in our meeting today, please?
Well, mainly two things. The first is kind of the shift to what I call social commerce. So instead of the vision of having producers and consumers, it's more a case of people connecting with each other as peers over the networks, and then a new type of service organizations that kind of facilitates the connections between people, see what they need, and make and build what these people need. Think about Google already, which is a good example. They basically reserve to us what we already make, right? So that's kind of like a model that I'm trying to explain. And the second point is I will talk about what I call open infrastructures. And basically I think people are building a new infrastructure that is based on more freely sharing the intellectual property. Okay. So shared innovation, shared code like in free software, shared design like in open hardware, and then using a new type of machinery which is more modular and granular. There are new possibilities for relocalized manufacturing. Okay. And I will try to explain how this is working and what kind of people are already doing this as a model for the future.
So the contemporary global crisis raised some doubts about the development of our future. Then how do you think the P2P production, or we can say P2P philosophy, could be a useful framework to understand and to face the situation in a better way?
Yes, so maybe I can break down the question in two and just say a little bit about the crisis. So I think two things are happening, and I call this the crisis of value, together with Adam Arvidsson, who is here as well. And so the basic idea is that you have today a financial world, right, which no longer just creates money in the sphere of production, making things, but actually through the whole of society, and mainly through debt. And so we have had a system for 30 years where basically wages have not been growing, but people were motivated to buy through credit. And so what you have is a really big problem is, so money is made in the financial system, but there's no feedback system anymore. So it doesn't go back in real money to real people who are really working, and you have precarity and unemployment and a series of issues. Okay, then the other side is the side of peer production. So what I mean with peer-to-peer is the ability of people to come together over the internet and create value together. And you think about Google not as a company selling anything, but actually as a company that actually just shows the documents that you've made to me and the documents I've made to you, right? So it's actually the people creating the value, and then you have companies servicing that and presenting it. But basically the value is now created more and more through these peer-to-peer connections. And but they will also have a problem, and you can take Google as an example. Okay, so Google is making a lot of money, yes, but how many people can make money with Google? One. And how much do the people who actually make money for Google actually get back? So you can see there's a problem there. Again, the money that's made by Google does not flow back to the people who create the value, and a lot of the value that's created is not just being monetized. So we can make more and more use value, but we can only make a little bit of money out of it, and this is an increasing problem. So we have a problem on the financial side, and we have a problem let's say in the production of value side as well. And so this is one of the explanations for the current crisis. Okay, so I can talk about peer-to-peer now in a positive way, right? As something new that is emerging in this world. So basically, I claim there is a new model emerging in the way we do business and create value, which is the following: people contribute to a commons. So people create knowledge, create software code, free software and open source software, and increasingly they create shared designs, right, that are used to make things. So let's take Linux as which is a free software operating system, right? Now around Linux, a lot of companies are being created or exist already that use Linux, and they use it to either do services or whatever. But the big difference is they share the intellectual property with other people. But around it you can have a thriving economy of companies that are creating value for the market, but around the commons. And then usually, of course, you also have some kind of foundation that manages the infrastructure. So this is the picture. You have people contributing to a commons, either for free or paid, because a lot of people get paid for making software. You have an economy that grows out of it. And the people who make money out of the commons create a feedback system so that the commons can continue to grow. And what we can see is that wherever this emerges, it actually starts displacing the classic companies. Yeah? Take example I use is in telecommunications and applications for the phones. In the old model, you had a monopoly. They would control everything. They would take 90% of the income, and it wasn't moving. They were not innovating. Then you have Apple coming with the iPhone and saying, anybody can make applications, but we control them. Right? And then you have Android coming and saying everybody can make applications and we won't control them. Okay, and what you can see since the last 2 quarters, Android is overtaking Apple, right? So it means that actually being open and free, this kind of commons-oriented model with open and free input and a commons-oriented output actually works, and works better than the older system.